In the autumn of 1868, travelers passing along the dusty road through Widow's Ridge often spoke in hushed tones of a lonely homestead sitting against the thick Arkansas wilderness. The log cabin looked ordinary enough from the outside, smoke rising from its chimney, fresh chopped wood stacked neatly beside the porch. But what made people uneasy was the family inside. The Callaways never spoke to people, not a word, not even a wave. They avoided town, and when someone dared stop by, they would not answer the door unless the visitor brought a mirror. Then, the family would silently accept it, bowing politely before disappearing again. The silence, the mirrors. It was enough for neighbors to whisper, "Something ain't natural about them Callaways." The family consisted of Samuel, a tall, strong man with worn hands, Eliza, his soft-faced wife, and their children, curious Anna, timid James, and a baby named Martha. Inside their home, mirrors were everywhere, polished, framed, large and small, placed near every wall like silent guests. The Callaways spoke fluently, but only while looking into glass. Samuel would stand before the largest mirror saying, "Anna, fetch more logs for the fire," and the little girl would nod, staring into a hand mirror, replying, "Yes, Papa." Their voices were gentle, loving, but never directed at each other. They only spoke to reflections. Why? Not even the children knew the full truth. Anna Calloway, barely 10, wondered about the world beyond their silver-lined walls. She often sat outside in the grass, watching birds scatter into the sky as if they had freedom etched into their feathers. One day she whispered, not into a mirror, but into the open wind, "Why can't we talk like others?" The moment the words slipped from her lips, she gasped and covered her mouth, heart racing with fear of breaking the household rule. Just then, Samuel stepped to the doorway holding a framed mirror, his expression troubled, not angry, sad. He didn't scold her. He simply lifted the mirror, and Anna understood. She must speak only through reflections. But the question lingered like a quiet ache inside her. What exactly were they afraid of? At night, when the children slept, Samuel and Eliza would whisper in front of a tall mirror, the only time they allowed themselves to look tired and fragile. Eliza's voice trembled. "Sooner or later, they will want to know. What will we tell them?" Samuel stared deeply into his own reflection as if it held the answer. "We tell them the truth when danger is gone, when their voices are safe." Their reflection flickered in the dim lantern light. The silence returned. Whatever they feared, it was real. And it wasn't gone yet. One stormy evening, a knock came. Loud, frantic. Samuel hesitated before opening the door. There stood a young man, soaked, clutching his bloody arm. "Sir, please. I was attacked by wolves." He collapsed. The Callaways acted quickly. No hesitation in kindness. They bandaged him, fed him hot broth, and laid him by the fire. But when he tried to speak to them, every word he received back was through gestures, nods, and written notes. The stranger frowned, puzzled. "Why won't you speak?" Eliza's hands trembled. She wanted to explain. Instead, she raised a small mirror for him to see himself. Her eyes pleaded, "Please understand." By morning, the stranger regained enough strength to sit up. "My name's Caleb Mercer," he said, trying to lighten the mood. "Thank you for saving me. But I'd like to know why you folks won't speak to anyone." Anna looked from Caleb to her father. Samuel took a deep breath, then walked to the mirror. "We speak, just not freely." Caleb's eyes widened. Words coming from a mirror, not from Samuel's lips facing him. Caleb stuttered, How did you do that?" Samuel's hand gripped the mirror tighter. "It is not a trick. It is protection." Caleb now knew this family held secrets far deeper than silence. Caleb, frightened but grateful, asked again for clarity. Anna, unable to hold back, blurted out, without a mirror, "We're cursed." The room froze. Samuel gasped and rushed to cover her mouth. Eliza clutched baby Martha close, eyes wide with fear. The candle on the table suddenly flickered violently. A cold wind swept through even though all windows were shut. Caleb's heartbeat thudded in his ears. Samuel turned to the mirror, whispering sharply toward his reflection, "Not here. Not like this." Whatever the curse was, merely speaking of it wrongly seemed dangerous. That night, Caleb awoke to a strange sound, a low scraping, like fingernails dragging across wood. He peered through the dim cabin, following the sound to the largest mirror. A dark shape lay behind the glass, not a reflection, but a figure moving independently. Caleb's blood ran cold. It whispered, not with a voice, but with the scraping of claws. "Voices. Where are your voices?" Caleb stumbled back in terror. Suddenly, Samuel appeared, lantern shaking in his grip. "Do not speak. Do not look directly at it." The shadow behind the mirror pressed a hand, a gnarled black limb, against the glass. A voice was spoken without reflection. "Give it back." Anna's slip-up had consequences. At dawn, Samuel finally shared the truth, this time willingly. Long ago, the Callaways lived in Tennessee, where Samuel's father was a preacher obsessed with banishing evil. One night, he attempted a forbidden ritual, shouting holy verses into a cracked mirror, believing he could trap a demon inside it. He succeeded, but at a terrible cost. The demon demanded voices to survive, the voices of the living. It tried to rip sound from their throats. To stop it, Samuel's father commanded the family, "Speak only to mirrors. Do not let your voices stray into the demon's world." It worked, mostly, but the demon was always listening, waiting for a single mistake. And now, thanks to Anna, it had heard a voice directly once more. Caleb shook his head in disbelief. "You're telling me a demon lives in your mirrors? And you think you can keep living like this?" Samuel's voice through the glass was steady but full of quiet pain. "My children deserve safety. I will endure silence for them." Anna's eyes welled. "I'm sorry," she whispered into a small mirror, afraid to look anywhere else. Samuel knelt beside her. Through the mirror, his voice softened. "It is not your fault. Fear kept us prisoner, but maybe fear cannot be the only answer now." Caleb leaned forward. "Then let me help you fight. Wolves didn't scare me off, and neither will a shadow." Samuel looked at his family, tired of running, tired of reflection instead of connection. For the first time, hope flickered brighter than fear. They would prepare. They would protect their voices. They would end what Samuel's father had begun. But the demon was already awake. The Callaways and Caleb spent the day gathering every mirror in the house into one room, the living space where the demon first stirred. Samuel closed the shutters tight and spread salt in a circle around the mirrors as Caleb sharpened a fireplace poker into a makeshift spear. Eliza made Anna and James hold small hand mirrors. "If you must speak," she told them softly, "speak here, nowhere else." The air grew heavy as evening fell, like the forest itself was holding its breath. Caleb asked Samuel one last question. "What's the plan?" Samuel steadied his voice through reflection. "We give the demon what it wants, then take everything from it." Just before midnight, the cabin trembled, cups rattling, the fire hissing, every mirror fogged from the inside as if something breathed behind the glass. Then came the voice, a scraping, hollow growl. "The girl. She spoke to me. I want her voice." Anna shook, gripping her mirror. Caleb stepped forward, spear aimed at the largest mirror. You aren't taking anything from her. The demon hissed through fractured echoes. Then give me another voice, one that fears losing itself. It clawed at the inside of the glass, a threat pounding against the fragile barrier. Samuel, who had lived under this curse the longest, stepped before the biggest mirror, hands trembling. Take me, he said firmly to the glass. Leave my children, leave my wife. Eliza gasped and almost spoke out loud, but caught herself just in time, tears streaking silently down her face. The demon's form twisted gleefully. A noble bargain. I accept. Samuel looked at his reflection, one last time, father to father. Then he whispered, protect them. The mirror rippled. Darkness wrapped around Samuel like hungry smoke. Anna screamed into the air, forgetting the rules. Papa, no. The floorboards cracked. The mirrors rattled violently. The demon had heard a free voice again. A sudden shatter. The largest mirror exploded outward, shards flying as a massive, deformed shadow lurched into the room. It dragged behind it a trail of black smoke where its legs should be, face twisted like melted glass. Anna and James huddled behind Eliza. Caleb charged with the spear, but the demon grabbed him effortlessly, lifting him off the ground. More voices. I want all of them, Caleb choked, struggling against its grip. Eliza stood frozen in terror until the baby, Martha, let out a tiny whimper. The demon snapped toward her. Yes. A fresh voice. Eliza clutched Martha tighter, horror swallowing her breath. Eliza had spent years afraid of sound, afraid of harm. But seeing that monster reach for her baby unleashed something fierce inside her. She snatched a broken mirror shard from the floor. For the first time in years, she looked that demon directly in its twisted face and spoke aloud. You will not touch my children. Her voice cracked like thunder. The demon shrieked, writhing back as if burned by the very sound. Caleb dropped to the floor, gasping. Eliza realized the truth. The demon fed on stolen voices. But genuine love-struck voices could hurt it. Eliza shouted again, louder this time, pure terror turning to pure strength. You cannot have them. The demon backed up, black smoke sizzling where her words struck. Anna, crying, took the shard of a mirror too, and yelled, Give us back, Papa. James joined, his small voice trembling. Go away. Each word hit the demon like sparks against dry brush, weakening the darkness. Caleb, now understanding, rose to his feet. We're not afraid of you, he growled, stepping forward. Not anymore. Their voices, imperfect and free, were the demon's undoing. The demon tried to retreat into a mirror, its safe haven. But the mirrors were shattered, scattered, useless. Caleb thrust the spear into the darkest part of its mass. The children screamed every loving memory of their father. We want him back. We still need him. Papa, please come home. With each word, the demon shriveled, shrinking, burning, until all that remained was a swirling black mist sucked into a single surviving shard, which cracked under the pressure and shattered into dust. Silence. Only the sound of their breathing remained, shaken but alive. The victory tasted hollow. Samuel was gone. Anna ran to the largest broken frame, sobbing. Papa, are you in there? Caleb placed a hand on her shoulder, unable to speak. Eliza knelt, pulling her children into a trembling embrace. Then, a whisper. Not behind glass, not from a reflection, but from the open air. Anna, I'm here. A figure emerged from the settling smoke. Samuel, coughing, alive. Eliza threw her arms around him, sobbing into his chest. A real embrace, not through a mirror. And Samuel. He spoke directly back. I've missed your voices. That night, The Callaways sat around the fire. No mirrors, no fear, just the warmth of a family rediscovering sound. James babbled nonstop, making up for lost time. Anna asked 1,000 questions. Baby Martha laughed, a loud, bright sound that melted every scar the demon left behind. Samuel held Eliza's hand tight. "Never again," he promised. "No more silence." Caleb, leaning on his bandaged arm, smiled softly watching them. "Guess I arrived just in time," he joked. Samuel nodded gratefully. "Yes, and you will always have a place here." For the first time in years, Hope lived in open air. Weeks passed. Neighbors once fearful now came to say hello. And this time, the Callaways answered with warm greetings and laughter. When people asked why the mirrors were gone, Samuel simply replied, "Because we have nothing left to fear." Anna loved singing to the birds outside. James discovered storytelling, loud, dramatic storytelling. Baby Martha grew up never knowing silence as a cage. As for Caleb, he stayed, becoming like family, helping rebuild what the darkness once tried to steal. On clear nights, Samuel would sit with his family under the stars and whisper, "Your voice is a gift. Speak with love, speak with courage, and never let fear steal your words again." And the wind carried their laughter across Widow's Ridge, a family no longer trapped in reflection but grounded in the beauty of real human sound.